All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all having a fantastic Monday. Let's get right into this. So today could have been a very, very bad day for Trump and a sad day for the United States. And it is. Donald Trump, as the presumptive nominee of the Republican Party for the presidential election, is not out campaigning, is not out raising funds, is not out, meeting with people. No, he's stuck in a courtroom, and they did this on purpose versus Alvin Bragg in New York. But it could have been much worse. Big Panny Fanny, not Big Panny Fanny in Georgia, but Letitia James wanted to seize Trump's assets today, even though he put up the bond that the appellate court told him to. Ladies and gentlemen, it's crazy. We're about to get into more detail, but really quickly, I want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that is the Midas Gold Group. They're a second-generation Christian, veteran, family-owned gold, silver, and precious metals IRA firm. They protect your money from Bidenomics, and that is Biden inflation, high gas prices, collapse of the dollar, and bank runs. They are backed by Sebastian Gorka himself. Contact them today at MidasGoldGroup.com or call them at 480-360-3000. Mention Vlad from American News Network. They'll give you a bunch of free silver on qualifying orders. Let's get right into it. We're going to start off with watching this video, and you're going to understand what's happening, and I'll break it down a little more.
All right, so here's the breaking news. And the former federal prosecutor Cherkasky and I were just talking about this, and he said this was not going to hold up. He said Trump's going to be fine. So the court has just ruled that the bond, that $175 million bond that Trump put up, will stand, despite the fight that the woman on the right, Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, was trying to slide in. And what did Cherkasky call it? He called it, she was trying to play a legal technicality, saying that the insurance company that Trump was using wasn't going to have the resources to back up that bond should he fail an appeal. Well, the court says the bond can stay. $175 million needs to be in cash, not mutual funds or securities where value can fluctuate. Knight Insurance cannot trade or move the money, but they will have control of the account and will provide a monthly financial statement to the Attorney General showing $175 million in cash.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, so we all know it was this whole system of the Trump fraud trial. It was a sham. It was a scam. Never in the history of the United States of America has a case like that ever been brought before. Now, they hit him with $454 million fine, or we're going to start taking your assets. Trump goes to the Court of Appeals. Letitia James says, I don't care until the Court of Appeals makes their decision known. I want the bond, or I'm taking your property, which was supposed to happen 2 weeks ago. Trump goes to the Court of Appeals, says, help us out. They take a look at it. They're like, Letitia James, you crazy, right? Straight off, they're like, where are you getting these numbers from? Deutsche Bank said the one that is supposedly the victim, for some reason, they're still banking with Donald Trump and call him a whale of a client. That's their quote, actually. Then they reduce it to $154 million. In this case, you have to have it in cash plus 10% on top. I watched Alina Habba, Trump's attorney. She did a whole 3-hour video explaining this case. I listened to it. So she's like, you got to have all of it plus 10% on top. They said Trump don't got no money. Trump came in with all the money, went to one of those illegal bond companies, put the money in there, also gave them assets that back that money, plus the 10%. Not good enough for Letitia James. No. She thought she was about to get a bunch of media time, right? Remember how she was taunting Trump on Twitter? I don't know if you guys saw her. But on Twitter, after the ruling came down that Trump has to pay 450-something million, plus if he doesn't pay there's a 3% upcharge every day. And every day she would tweet, you owe me in this amount. And every day she would keep posting that. That's illegal. Maybe not illegal, but maybe outside the norms. That is something she was scolded for by the judge. The prediction of Alina Habba, this is all BS. In the end, Trump is going to win. And also, Alina Habba said, Jean Carroll case, Jean Carroll is not going to see a penny of that money. Trump has not paid her anything yet. And she said, when this is all done and the Court of Appeals dismisses it, she said she's suing Letitia James. She's suing the judge for not allowing evidence to be brought. She's taking them to federal court, to the Supreme Court if she has to. She said, and she's going to make them pay attorney fees, legal fees, and everything else. And she's going after all of them. She said, mark my words, no one's getting anything from Trump. She said right now it's these Democrat-run lower courts that are doing all this. But when we go to the Court of Appeals, the appellate courts, the Supreme Court, the federal courts, that's where she says we get to do the real fighting. On top of that, I was speaking to somebody last night and they said, Vlad, do you remember that the first indictment that came down on Donald Trump was the Alvin Bragg indictment? I'm like, yeah. He's like, it's not a federal crime. It's like they took a federal election crime, but the Federal Election Commission found nothing, so they dropped it. But then Alvin Bragg turned it into a state case and took it from a misdemeanor, turned it into a felony. He said, but then they had the documents indictment. Then they had the Georgia indictments. He said the documents and the Georgia ones, those are the serious ones. And then if we all remember, Alvin Bragg case took the back seat. That was the lowest of the lowest that they have, the weakest link, the BS case. But today, Trump is in court on trial, not for the classified documents, not for the Georgia case, but Alvin Bragg. Because nothing else was working. Nothing else. They can't even get a court date agreed upon. So they're going with the weakest link. And this trial could take anywhere from 4 to 7 months. But jury selection is who's for maybe another month or so. Then the jury, making its decision could take several months. Are we going to get any verdicts before election? Probably not. But it doesn't matter. Even if there is a verdict, doesn't matter. We're going to go out in numbers that they've never seen before. We are going to drown the machines with votes for Trump. Mail-in voting. Dropbox voting where it's allowed. We're going to vote. We're going to win. We're going to get our country back. We're going to drain the swamp. In Jesus' name. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Letitia James, not today. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you can. Share it with a friend or two. Subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I upload. God bless you. Trump 2024 or sooner.